Who is Leo Strauss?
Now, Leo Strauss was a professor of political philosophy at University of Chicago. I got to know him much later. I guess it would have been in the late 1940s. He was a teacher of some friends of mine who said, you must read this man and learn from him, which I began and did. I then met him. He's called Mr. Strauss. To this day, the students of his students refer to him as Mr. Strauss. No one ever first named Professor Strauss. And never Professor Strauss, only Mr. Strauss. He was a very impressive teacher whose basic idea was, you want to study politics, study Plato and Aristotle, and then try to understand modernity and modern politics in the light of their ideas. And it's a very fruitful way of looking at modernity. And he has produced dozens and dozens of first-rate students, whose students have now produced first-rate students. We're now into the fourth generation, as it were, of so-called Straussians.
Back in those days, did you seek out this kind of training, or did you happen on it?
Both. You know, I was a young intellectual. I mean, it was in the pre-TV era. I was a bookworm, had been a bookworm. I was very interested in ideas. The so-called deeper the idea, the more interesting I found it. I had never really studied Plato and Aristotle, but when I began to read Leo Strauss, I did begin to study them on my own. This was after I was out of college. And it seemed to me that he was onto something very important, that they knew things about us that we did not know about them, that in some ways they understood us rather better than we understood them. And so I became very, I would say reverential, but certainly very respectful of classical political thinking, namely pre-modern political thinking. And I read a lot in that field.
Of those early writers, who would be your favorite? What's the one book you would read for the basis of thought that's brought you through these years?
I think it would be Aristotle's Politics or his Ethics. Hard choice. It would be Aristotle, not Plato.
Did he preach in his writing?
No. But he didn't even write, so far as I know. He taught, and people wrote it down. He may have written, but did he preach? He had disciples. He had students. They used to walk around, and he would talk to them.
What was his theme?
Well, his theme was, what is the purpose of life? Nothing less. And the purpose of life is to lead a fully human life. And a fully human life is determined not by some capricious idea, but by nature. What nature intends us to live. That we are a species with a destiny, special destiny. And to realize our full humanity, we had to first live in society, and then we had to think about the implications of everything we knew.